Hey everybody, welcome back to Irish Outlaw Garage. If you're new here, welcome. You're about to watch me throw an ACES EFI fuel injection system on our 68 Buick Electra 225. ACES EFI and I have been working together for about 2.5, 3 years now. Our first one was with our 68 Pontiac ambulance that Amber drives every day. That's Artemis. You can go into the playlist and find all about him. And our 72 Oldsmobile Cutlass 455 tunnel ram. That's an interesting one over there. But today we're going to be putting our ACES EFI system on our 68 Buick Electra. There's a couple things I've already done that were, I was preemptively doing them because I was already there and I thought, well, I'll just get them done. I did film them. I'm going to show you how to do a few things right away here in just a little bit. We're going to go through everything that comes with this system for under $1,500. You can have everything I'm doing right now for under $1,500. Now, how much is a carburetor? How much is this? How much is that? By the time you add everything up on redoing your old hot rod or just getting something revived like I do and a lot of other YouTubers do, you can just do this and there's no more carb tuning. Yeah, wouldn't that be great? I'm an old school carb guy. Trust me on that one. I know it took me a minute to think that this was going to be okay, but after that one and that one, I'm sold. Most of the times, any kind of problems you have with these ACES or any other fuel injection system for that matter, it's usually operator error. I've done a few myself, and I had to fix it, and I got a hold of people and talk to people. Hey, what about this, this, and this? Pointers, advice, stuff like that. So let me go through what we're all getting here, and then I'll show you some of the other systems before we start, and then we'll just get to work on this because this ain't gonna take me very long. It's a nice Saturday, it's sunny, rained all night last night, so the ground's nice and squishy. But I'm gonna show you how to do this. I don't have a shop. I don't have a fancy shop. I don't have anything. I don't have a lift. I don't have nothing. I do everything right here where I'm standing on the rocks. Yeah, so let's get to it. Let me show you what we got here. Okay, so your kit that you order specific to what you want will come in a very nicely packaged box. So this is the entire wiring harness. It's all one piece. Everything's all ready together. You just got to plug it in. It's plug and play, okay? It even comes with, I'm not going to open it right now, but it comes with your cable that goes to your computer if you want to do some serious tuning. Probably won't have to do that. I haven't had to do it on that one, and I haven't had to do it on that one. So first things first, the wiring harness, and every one of these that I've got have been perfect. They've worked perfectly. I didn't even have to put any extensions on anything on that Cutlass over there with how high it is in the air. But we'll get to that in a minute. I'll show you around. So that is the mount. It's very well done. I got one in the Cutlass and it works very well. This is your ECU and it is very well manufactured. It is water resistant, not like you can't dunk this thing in a pool and think it's going to work, all the time. But got some junk in there, a little bit of that foam. But there's that. And let me close that up before it blows away. We have our O2 sensor, okay? And it does come with the bung. The bung. No, not that bung, this bung. This is the bung that you will put on your exhaust to get your O2 readings, and it tells the system how to tune itself. This is a temp sensor, and I already have it installed because, like I said, I was doing some other things. Now I'm going to put this right here. If you're going to put this in your old hot rod, this right here that I got at O'Reilly is the brass fitting adapter that will go into your old pipe thread and allow this. I noticed that on all the other two cars I had that problem too, and I couldn't remember, but this is for my own reference too, so I can go back and look. But that is the brass fitting that this will go into your motor, okay? This is your PDM. Now, I probably am not going to use this on this build, but it is an option. And you can run battery, and you can run all your stuff, your fans, your ignition, all your relays. I really don't have a need for this, as simple as this build is, but we'll look at it. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't have them on either of the other vehicles, because I just use the simple, you know, negative ground, positive to the battery and ignition. That's pretty much all I've used on mine. This would be my 5-inch HD screen, and these things are fantastic. They do offer an 8-inch. That's a nice upgrade, but for what I'm doing, I just need this thing. It's not going to be my dash, you know what I mean? So this thing is just going to be how I can, you know, check vitals and test and tune and things like that, because there are a few things that you need to do to get this thing running optimal, and you can do it right here on the handheld. You don't need a computer, you don't need all that stuff. So my kit came with this 20-foot AN6 PTFE hose kit. I do have a lot of this stuff laying around from other projects, and you know, I'd go on Amazon or wherever and I buy a buttload of that stuff, and I do have a bunch. I may be a little light on the fittings though, so I'm gonna have to look into that, make sure I got enough. But it does come with this if you want it to. There's smaller systems that don't, but so far this is it. Okay, it may seem like a lot, but it's not. So what is that? This is our ACES EFI command center. This is what we're going to be running the entire system off of as far as fuel. Look at the packaging. It is so well done. Very well protected. This is our throttle body. Comes with, you know, your ball hookups and all the little different things. It has the plug for if you're going to run boost. It has everything in it that you need, including this gasket, which is extremely important on these systems. That little edge right there where it's cut out is extremely important on these. So don't just think you can just throw whatever gasket on it. It needs to have that. So what I got here is the Killshot 2, and this thing is fantastic. It does have the progressive linkage to where it doesn't grab the secondary flaps, if you want to call them that, until you get into it. That, you know, that way you don't flood out your system quick. But very well manufactured, and yeah, I'm extremely happy with this thing. I have one already. Matter of fact, I have a prototype over there on that Cutlass. I'll show it to you here in just a second. I don't want to get on a rant about my other cars, but these things work great. Both sides will feed the entire system, so we'll be blocking one off. I'll get into that whenever we get this installed, but it's just a fantastic product. Again, I was a skeptical person until I got them. So let me close some of this up, and then we'll go and I'll show you the systems that I already have, and then we'll get right into putting this thing together. All right, so this is Artemis. He's our 68 Pontiac hearse ambulance. Yeah, this is Amber's favorite baby. You can see it's got the beautiful engraved, it's dirty right now, but beautiful engraved valve covers and air cleaner for breast cancer awareness. Hence the pink Killshot 1. This is the original Killshot 1, and it has worked flawlessly too. There's the computer. It's sitting out here, which is the same thing I'm going to do to that one, because I don't want to cut a hole at all. And again, as long as you keep it where it's not you know, just water pouring on it, you're good. And we've never had a problem with any of this stuff. And here is the command center. And what's nice is the ground was right next to the battery, so I didn't have to run too long a ground, which is good. And this is your pump in, your power that goes to this pump. Again, here's the inlet from the mechanical pump that's down there, the pressure to there through a filter. That's a 10 micron, I believe. And this is your return that I actually ran hard line all the way to the back, and I'm not going to do that on the Buick. I'll just run PTFE because I got enough of it. But this thing has run flawlessly. The only issue I have ever had was my mechanical pump in the middle of New Mexico a couple years ago died, starving this, frying the pump, and you know, that was not good. We were in the middle of friggin' nowhere, New Mexico, and I ended up doing some swapping. I didn't have access because you can take this off. It's just a regular old fuel pump. I had one of those, but I did not have one of these. I didn't have that pump, so I was stranded. I had to throw a carb on it and a few other things. But since then, again, we haven't had one issue with this at all. This thing will fire right up. Matter of fact, out of all the cars this winter, this one fired up the easiest. My second one is this monstrosity. This one has an in-tank pump. I bought a Tanks tank, but I have the ACES Slim Fit pump in it, and then I have I use the Tanks sending unit to tell me how much fuel, and it works great. Again, the whole ACES system, that is the Killshot 2, and that is the prototype. That was the one before the one you can get now, you know, that's out into the public. And they gifted that to me because of all the stuff I've done with Artemis over there. But you just run you and out. This one's run different. It goes from the tank straight through a filter, straight into here, out of here, into your pressure regulator, and then back out, back to the tank, the return. Yeah. And this is PTFE that goes to my transmission cooler. I highly suggest that too, by the way. That's a PTFE ready transmission cooler, 6AN. It's perfect. I've never had any trouble with it either. ACES also has some killer. This is their plug wire. They're all porcelain. I have a set of these too that's probably going to go on the Buick. But you can see there's that fitting that I was talking about that I already put in, and that this has never failed me. This one has standard style ignition because you can't really fit anything else in there. And this is a 10 micron, I believe. Yep, 10 micron, and then the tank has a filter in it. So, but yeah, this thing has not once failed me. I took this thing all across the country, like both ways, east and west, out in the desert and in the mountains, nothing. The only thing I had to do on my trip to duct tape drags last year was change that right there. That's it. Now, one thing that did happen, total honesty here, just 2 weeks ago, my O2 sensor failed. Now, you think, oh my God, it still ran fine. I just noticed in my handheld that it did not go into closed loop. And it kind of, you know, you could kind of tell it wasn't all there. Change that O2 sensor with another ACES O2 sensor. Perfect. The thing runs great. I've never once had this thing tuned. It is still on the learn function on that big ass tunnel ram, and it runs great. Well, that's enough about these two. It's time to get on to her. By the way, her name is Lucille. Treat her real nice. You're about to go under surgery. No, not too bad though. Now, if you're going with the command center setup like I have on Artemis and what I'm doing here on Lucille, something you need to do. And even if you're running in, you know, an inline pump, like some people like to do that, I don't, because they like to overheat. They'll work, you know, but if you're daily driving them, like the Cutlass is my workhorse. That's what I, you know, it's my workhorse. It's my parts getting truck is what it is. But one thing you're gonna have to do, no matter what, I don't care if they say, oh no, you can just run it deadhead. No, don't do it. You're just gonna, you're gonna end up burning up your pumps, and it's just not good. The other thing that I'd like to explain is a lot of cars have, you know, old hot rods, they have a return line. They're like a 1/4 inch. Don't do that. You can still run that original one like I'm doing on her. The original return line is still running return fuel back to the tank, just like it would, you know, if it was carbureted. I'm not going to remove that. I'm going to leave it alone, but you cannot, and you know, maybe I'm wrong, but you should not run your return from your fuel pump, your electric pump, through that line. Okay, if you're running like what I am, where it comes all the way up here. A lot of the times the older Corvette style or other pumps, they're towards the back and you can just whip it around and go right back in. Even then, don't use that return side. That's not enough, that you're restricting your line. You probably shouldn't go any lower than, like, say, a 5/16, but I prefer to keep it at a 3/8. That way it's just a good flow, you know, not a lot of bends, just straight back to the tank. So the thing is your command center comes with this little bung, and what this is you drill it out your tank. You find a flat spot on your tank, and this already has a 6AN fitting on it like that, and it's sealed, and you have to put the hole in the tank nicely in a flat spot, get it in there, and then tighten it up. And I'm going to show you how to do that. I did it yesterday while I already had the fuel tank out of the car, but I was not going to not show you how to do it. So I'm going to show you that right now. I'm a little different. I'm not as worn out because I did a lot to this car yesterday, but I'm going to show you how to do this real quick, and when we get back we'll keep going. So go to it. Okay, we got to put a return bung in this tank for Lucille, and I already had one. There's one in the kit that comes with your command center, and what that is it's this right here, and it's got this little bolt in there and a seal, and then it also comes with a 6N fitting for PTFE line, which is what we're going to use on the return. The best thing you can do is, before you even start or while you're doing this, is coat this right here, this bolt, coat it with anti-seize or something. That way it doesn't strip out, because they will strip out. This is aluminum. And how you're going to do that is, you'll see me, you're going to stick this in, hold this, and crank this down with a wrench until it's nice and snug and tight. But first, there's things you got to do before this. Make sure you got a clean surface, nice flat surface. Necessarily don't have to be flat, but it's best if you find a good flat surface for this thing. And let me show you how to put this in. Okay, so I had taken this thing out preemptively because I wanted to get rubberized coating. I cleaned up the tank on the bottom, tried to wash it out, but I'm gonna end up washing it out again. There's a lot of rust in there. It was a handful. It was pretty bad. I'm glad I took it out. This is a nice flat spot that just happened to be in this tank. And you also want to make sure whenever you stick the thing back up in there, it ain't, you know, it ain't gonna hit anything with this, with the 6AN. It'd be about out to here. But I already had cut it because it looks like it's gonna storm, so I'm kind of in a hurry. But you just take your step bit, and most step bits have, you know, if you get a good one, or if you just get one that's 1/2 inch, they have a gauge on them that tells you where each one is. And what I like to do is I'll put a little grease around that. I'll dip that sucker in some wheel bearing grease or something, and then I'll run that in until, you know, get it close, and then take this, and you want it to be a tight fit, which that is. Okay, sorry I didn't show me doing that on camera, but it is what it is. But I'm trying to face in a storm here before we get started on this EFI system. So what you're going to do is, you'll make sure that there's nothing impeding here. My new sending unit will be over there. The pickup will be pointed on this direction of the tank, whereas this will return directly in. So I think we're going to be okay. I took the old one out. Yeah, you can't get those anywhere. It's afloat, but it's no good. Anyway, let's stick this sucker in there. First, you want to make sure it's good and clean and flat. If you have to, take a ball peen and just tap on it till you feel that it's nice and flat. Okay. I couldn't believe it had this flat spot on it, but just take it. We're going to shove it in there with the seal behind it. And you take this screw out. And I don't tell you this in the instructions, but I learned the hard way. Just coat the shit out of this thing. I mean, coat it. I wish I had silver, but I don't. And that'll help the friction in here. So I don't know where my 1-inch is. So I got just a wrench, a damn crescent wrench. I'm going to tighten that on there pretty good. Then I'm going to use this, but I'm going to tighten it a little bit at a time, and just make sure I can feel it starting to pull. It ain't exactly easy, but I really didn't want to cut a hole in this unobtainable tank, to be honest with you. Yeah, you can't get these. They are impossible. So just keep going. You can tell there's a lot of friction in there. That's why you're going to use that anti-seize. Oh yeah, we're getting there. Oh yeah, that seal sealed up nice. And it's good and tight. Then make sure you keep your wrench on it. You back it out. Just like that. There your bolt. Now, I mean, there's a little anti-seize in there, but that'll dissipate. You could take a rag, I guess, and fold it over, clean this out as best you can. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's good. That's nice and snug. Then you take your 6/8 in, it's got a little seal on it right there. Careful you don't break that, because it will leak if you don't, but you can just stick any old O-ring on there, it's fine. But put this in there, like that. Get it in there all the way. Yeah, I know I don't have a fancy no scratch tool. And then just like that. good and tight. She will not leak. I notice this thing has this big returns on them, or not returns. They're vents. And they point up. But anyway, I gotta find a vent that big. I don't know what that noise is, but it sucks. Anyway, I gotta find a vent tube for that. Maybe block one off, I don't know, unless I can find where these go to. But that's basically it. Now I am going to clean this thing out more, and we'll pick up whenever I got the tank back in there. It's only going to take me a second to stick it up there, bolt it in. But I'm going to go ahead and clean this up. I'll put the sending unit in it, and then I'll clean this up even more after I clean inside, and then I'll coat it. Probably, this looks pretty good, so I'll probably just put black paint on it, just something, because again, you can't get these. You can get one similar, but nothing like the way it is. But yeah, that's in there good and tight, and it'll blow right here, and the pickup is over here. It's best if you don't have it directly on the pickup, because then you're just going to starve your mechanical pump with what we're doing. So anyway, bung installed. The only thing you need, that step bit, a little bit of grease, something to clean off the metal, you know, just kind of clean it off so you got a good mating surface, and then anti-seize and a hammer if you need to kind of flatten it out. I got real lucky with this. If we wouldn't have put it here, if this wouldn't have been here, I probably would have stuck it in here somewhere. But let me get this thing cleaned out. It's got some garbage in it. I can't get my hand in there, but there's some shit in there that we don't need going into our fuel injection system. Anyway, that's how you put that in. It's ready to roll. We can put a 90. It's best you don't use anything more than a 90. 45, 90, or if you're going to come around, just go straight in. Always put it at the top though if you can, so it comes down. That way it ain't messing with your actual sending unit. It's easier that way, less confusion. You won't make a mess in there to cause in there to go and done. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let me get this thing painted up, cleaned out in the car, and then hopefully, if it's not going to rain, if it's missing us, I'm going to throw this fuel injection system in this car like that. It's so easy. So easy. Okay, we got that done. The only other thing I did was there is my coolant temp sensor, and that is that fitting that I told you about that you need to put in there. Maybe not every one of them needs that, but pretty sure all of them do. It's not the same as the one that goes into this. I'm just telling you that right now. Your old school style temp sender, that will not work. This is its own animal. Anyway, there's the carburetor we're going to be taking off in this. But what I like to do, especially after that one, because it took me such a long time to figure out where to put everything, is I like to lay it all out. You know, your wiring, your command center, computer, where it's going, get it all figured out first. Okay, so the command center obviously is going right here. Now that is a wobble spot, so I'm going to be putting a couple of spacers underneath that to raise it off of it. That way it's sitting on that wobble, because that's just pressure on that case you don't need to do. So, you know, you can actually set these. You can set them like this, or it has the provisions right here and here to move these to there, and you can set them on a frame like that. I prefer to have them straight up and down. That way it's, you know, it's full. I you know, I'm old school. I'm wondering if there's going to be an air pocket. So, but probably not. I don't know what I'm talking about in that sense, but you can set them directly on their side, either perfectly level like that or perfectly level like that. And we're going to be putting that right here, like that. And again, we'll come from the pump right there. It's right down there. We'll come from the pump over to this. Probably what I'm going to do is cut this line right here and just run it directly over to here with a little bit of just a 45 or a 90. And then this will come up and around. It'll go up and I'll have a fuel filter right there, and then come around and come into the back of the throttle body, and then I'll cap off the front one because we don't need it. And your return line obviously will go right down the frame back to where I put that bung in. It's going to work perfectly. Then we're going to come over here and got our wiring harness. Now on that one, I have the computer on this side because I don't really know why I put it over there. Probably because the battery is on this side and it was just closer to the battery. I didn't have to run so much positive negative wire, you know, to get draw. I just didn't want it to be that long. Plus everything was right there. Unfortunately on this one the battery is going to be over here from that, but I think it'll be fine. We'll get a good ground. I am going to ground this directly to the battery though. I'm not grounding it to the body. I'm going directly to the battery. So anyway, yeah. So your throttle body be up here. There's your plug-in for your throttle body. It's perfect. This is your O2 sensor. It'll go right down through there. Perfect for the O2 sensor. This goes to your temp sender right there, so it's perfect. Then this is your CAN wire. This is what will hook up to your handheld or your computer, either one, and there's plenty of line there that I can run it through and go through a hole that's already in the dash. Now this right here, let's go into this. Let me get that wiring harness real quick and I'll show you. So this is your additional wiring harness that comes with your wiring kit. And this has everything in it from your sensors to your fan controls, tack in, tack out. It has a lot of different things depending on your situation and what you're using. And we are going to be using this because I don't use computer controlled timing. Okay? I've tried it. I don't get it. I just don't want to mess with it. I actually had it on him and I had trouble getting it set, and I just couldn't get it right. And even the computer controlled part of it that's already designed in the system wasn't getting it right. So I switched this back to HEI, and that one has just a regular old school, you know, small cap HEI in it, and I'm not running the computer controlled. Now if it's something you're into, go ahead. I don't want to mess with it. The best thing to do, in my opinion, if you're going to have your computer controlled set up with the blackjack distributors or whatever distributor you're going to use that allows that, take it immediately to a tuner, or if you know somebody who does it real well, they can do it while driving tests and stuff. I know that guy, but I don't want to do that. I just want to put it on and make sure it runs. That's what I did with the Cutlass, and it's been great the whole time. It's not good to just leave it on learn. If you know, I mean, it's really best if you do take it to someone or a dyno or something like that, really get it dialed in, but it's not absolutely necessary. It's just my personal opinion, but if you're somebody like me, an old hot rodder carb guy that just wants to upgrade to fuel injection and try stuff, leave the timing alone in the car. Don't touch it. Just leave it where it's at if it's been running good. And then eventually, if you want to try it, let the computer go. And if you get the money or the time to take it to somebody who knows what they're doing, yeah, then you can do it. But I'm not messing with that. I'm leaving the timing right where it is. I might adjust it a little bit to how it wants to run, with the fuel injection on it, but other than that, it's all still just old school HEI or, you know, coil or whatever you're going to use in your vehicle. But anyway, that's my 2 cents. Nothing against it if that's what you want to do, but I personally am not going to do that. I just want to leave it alone. One more thing. So here's our ECM, ECU, whatever you want to call it. And in your wiring bag, it has these little rubber stompers, or, you know, things that sit against the metal. You're going to want to run those. They just bolt onto the back, and that way you don't, you know, you ain't got metal to metal, and it also isolates the vibrations. This thing's probably going to go like right here. I'm probably going to put it about right there ish, or I don't know, I might go down further. The body of this car has these lines, and this is an AC line, and the AC works, so I'm not messing with that. But you got to figure out a good solid place to put this that water ain't going to directly just pour on it. So that's the other thing. But as far as wiring, this is how it's going to go. That way we don't have I don't have a whole damn harness running all over the place, and it still looks pretty clean. They really do this. They do a good job on this. Really, really good job. I've had zero issues with their wiring. It's nice, thick shielding, so you don't get the interference. But all right, guys, it's time to start. I may have to stop in the middle of this because I only have 2 spacers. I don't have 3. I need 2 more. I may have to run to town. But let's get this thing rolling. Maybe we'll start with where we're going to put the computer and the best place to hook it up. The one thing that will be, you know, an issue for somebody just doing it in their garage, or you don't have a welder, is that O2 sensor. But I mean, I'm sure everybody's got a buddy that welds. So let's get this thing figured out. Let's figure out where we're going to put the computer, where we're going to set that. The rest of it is simple. That's it. The O2 sensor, the mounting of that, and the mounting of that. The rest of it is click, click, click. Actually, the first thing I'm going to do is pull this carb off, because I want to make sure that the throttle body is going to sit on there nicely, because these Buicks, the intake holes for your bolt holes are the narrow ones. If you see them where they have 2 holes, and luckily this ACES TBI, this Killshot 2, all of them do actually. They have both holes for the narrow and the wide, and I need to make sure that it's gonna fit. Oh boy, we might have a little bit of an issue here. Little things, man, it's the little things. Okay, let me try to figure some stuff out here. I didn't realize this was gonna give me that much problem. And like I said, it ain't the fault of the ACES unit. It's Buick. These older Buicks, they use this narrow line here, not the wide ones. And it's too close to the throttle body. I'm not sure we can get a nut on there. Actually, we probably can. It just had to be a really short, it'll have to be a really short stud. It might just be my studs. Let me do some figuring here. It probably ain't that big a deal. It's just something I didn't think about until just now. But let me figure this out real quick. Okay, so the issue is, you see how close that is. You cannot get a nut. Even if you pick it up and leave that much, you can't get a nut on there. So yeah, the nut is too tall. So this may be a situation where I will grind these down, or while I'm getting some other bolts, I'll go figure out if I can find a flatter nut, you know, one that's about half that size, I guess. Maybe. That's probably going to be the answer. Well, I got to run to town anyway to get bolts for the command center, and I think maybe some of those rubber grommet hooks that you can wire loop through. I might get a couple of those. I might have some of those actually. But this is a big deal, and it's Saturday in the morning, so I need to go try to find these real quick. But those studs will work. But we can't get these in there. They need to be thinner, which is fine. We'll just find something that's good and strong, like stainless or something like that. I'll find them. If not, we'll just trim these down on the grinder. Not a big deal. Let me go do that real quick. I'll be back, okay? Okay, I'm back. Got everything I needed. Running into some nice folks. Recognized me, wanted to talk about the Cutlass because that's what I took. It's my workhorse. It's right over there. Again, starts, drives, runs perfectly like a regular car. It's kind of strange. Got me a fresh water. So I got everything I need. So let me dig down here and I'll get into this throttle body. While it's here, I'm going to go ahead and throw it on there. So I went to my local Rural King supply, and they had 5/16 24 fine hex jam nuts, and they are little bitty. That'll work perfect. I'm upset that I can't put a damn washer on there. I went and bought a new stud kit. That way these are a little closer, but now we can get that thing tight. I also upgraded from this old Mr. Gasket thing to this Edelbrock spacer I had that goes from spread bore to square bore, and they seem to be a little bit better. It's just a nicer unit. But let me get this back off and I'll show you the gasket. These are not tight. I did not do that yet. Okay, so you notice this gasket, it is a good quality. They actually listened to me. I called them after that first one and said, hey, those gaskets ain't worth a shit, and they upgraded. These are actually a lot better. But that sits like that, there and there, and what that is your IAC runs right there. It's hard to, I don't want to put this thing down, but there and there, and it's kind of a, you know, it kind of works. If you do not have that there, your IAC is going to be jumping around and it won't get any flow. That's the best words I can come up with. I don't know, but I know that that's what it is. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this all back off, and I'm going to make sure these studs are in tight, because I don't need to be trying to pull that off in a pinch and it's just sticking on here and end up, you know, then we got to cut things off around electronics. But once you got that down like that on your spacer or whatever you're using, make sure your flaps have full range. Okay, flaps, yeah, I use stupid terms. But let me get those tight and we'll get that thing on there, and then we'll start running everything else. Hopefully that's the only hiccup I have. Again, that's not an ACES thing. That's a quadrajet small bolt pattern thing. And I kind of wish I would have went with a different intake, but because I like, with these fuel injection units, I like a big toilet bowl, right? Just drop her down and, you know, they live how they may. But let me get these studs tight. We'll get that throttle body down on there tight, and that'll be done. I'll cover it up, make sure nothing gets in it, and then we'll start running these wires and stuff like that. Okay? Sounds good? Sounds good. Well, that was a perfect mating. Look at that. That actually looks really, really good. So if you're going to use a spacer, whether it be this one, which is the Mr. Gasket, to convert it from spread bore to square bore, use these right here, these studs, CF1001 Cometic, okay? And then get you some fine hex nuts, 5/16 24, and they're the thinner And you gotta finesse it, you know, down, put some on, pull it up and put some down. But that looks really good. I'm just really surprised about that. And then make sure your linkage all works. Everything's good. So I'm gonna go ahead and this is already set here. We'll just hook that up while we're sitting here. Oh, maybe. That's a big bung there. That's a big one. I don't want to go on too far. And pull this one off. And that would be my vacuum advance. Put that on top. That way we can get to it. They fit snug in there. Okay. I'm pretty sure that's the only three. It's those three. 2 3/8 and this little 1/4 inch or whatever it is, 5, 6, 7/16, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, okay, throttle body in. Now we got part numbers. I know this ain't like a normal style video that I do for all my regular subscribers, but I want everybody to, you know, be able to do this easily if they want to. That's why we're doing this step by step, even the parts that I use. Like I said, that who would have known that right there would have been what you need. And hell, maybe it'll help ACES if if they ask, what are you putting it on? Well, a stock intake for a whatever Chevy or Buick or Pontiac or Olds, and there it is. Now they know the numbers that they need. That way we'll have that too. But okay, now let's figure out where we're going to put this this command center. I'm going to have to drill some holes so we know exactly where it goes in. So let me get the stuff together to do that. This shouldn't take but just a little bit. I think one of them I'm probably not going to be able to bolt, but I've got a solution for that too, because it goes into a big piece of the core support, and I don't want to drill through that. So okay, let's keep going. Okay, so there's 2 ways that I'm going to do this. Let me get out of the light, because I'm an idiot. I went ahead and took a marker, and I marked each one of these holes where I want it, the best situation. Only 2 of these holes are accessible by the bottom. The other 2, you ain't getting them from here. Not putting it in, it's going to be impossible. There's absolutely, it's right there, that's it. That's the only access. So I also have these Mondo long ass self tappers. And what I did was I took the self tapper and I went down in each one of these holes to get it where I want it. And then I'm going to take a drill and I'm going to drill these 2 out because I can get to them from the bottom. Kinda. That way there's 2 solid bolted mounts right here, and the back ones will have those self tappers because I ain't got no way to get it, and that's the best place to put this. I also have those, so each one of these is going to have that on top of it. That gets it off of the hump and gets it up off of this metal too, so the vibrations. I could have maybe, I think on Artemis I used rubber washers in places to stop it, but I don't think it's going to have a problem, because hell, you can put these things on frames. So I'm going to drill these 2 out real quick. I'm going to over drill them to 3/8 because, well, only because I already broke my 5/16. So let me get these drilled out. We'll get bolts through them, and these we'll have to get with a ratchet with an extension on it to get them, you know, snug tight, and that should be good enough. That's good metal right there. So let me get to this. All right, 2 grade 8 bolts, because why buy cheap bolts when it's like $1 more, and 2 very long like this self tappers. And I had those spacers in there, but it wasn't quite sitting right, so I started using these 5/16 washers and just shoved them underneath on the back side, and now we're perfect. And that son of a bitch ain't going nowhere. It's good off the metal. Well, let's let's figure out where we're going to put that computer. Okay, I tried different ways with that air conditioning line. That over there just ain't gonna happen. It's gonna have to be over here. This comes with these little rubber grommets, or like isolators, and that also, it picks the computer up off of the metal so it ain't, you know, like heat can get past it and it'll blow off. But it comes with those little nuts. You just take a 5/16 wrench, hold on to that, and just twist these with your finger, and that's a plenty. These are lock nuts. And then on the back side, you see that it screws in right there. Yeah, it comes with these little screws right here that you'll drill through wherever you're drilling, and those little lock washer thingies, stars. And yeah, that's just pretty simple. But this is gonna have to go right here. That's the flattest spot there is. I'll have to maneuver some of this shit somewhere else. I can run that up there, just like that. And then this can sit right here. It'll be just fine, just like that. Plenty of room for the plug. But now, since I got that there, I need to figure out how I'm going to run the electric. So we want to start at that, and that is where it's going to go. So I'm going to drill the holes, go through the fender well, and get that sucker tightened down, and then we hook up the wire. We're going from there first. I can make extensions to anything that needs, but that needs to be where it's going to be, and that right there. So let me get some holes drilled. Hell, we'd already had this done if it wasn't for those damn bolts. But okay, we're getting there. Okay, so I took this, set it down on there where I want it, and took me a marker and just did a circle as best I could around each one of these little rubbers. And then I'm going to take a 1/4 inch drill bit. It's a little bigger than it needs to be, but that way you got some play room. You just get in the center of your circle. You can use a poppet if you want. I don't know, I don't. But you just waller a little, each one. Now, that should be about damn near perfect to where we need it. Let me get the screws. And I got one in, had to jack the car up so I can get my fat arm in there. Okay, I got this figured out, because normally what I've done is these were always in the system. See, like this one here, it's a mess. This was my first try, but like here, the orange wire is the fuel pump, and it's right there, and it goes to its own relay, right? And then your main has its own relay, and that's what the power goes to the battery. This setup is actually pretty cool. They took it off the main harness. So what you got is, you got one that's your main power. You got main 12 volt out. That goes to that red wire right there. And then this one goes to the battery. Okay. Then you've got this one, which this one confused me at first because it says fan, because I don't know why, because it just doesn't matter. It's still a relay setup you use. I'm gonna put that over here, and that will hook directly to the battery, and it has a right there fuel. Well, it ain't gonna read it. It has that fuel pump relay, and that will go to this black wire. The other black wire goes to your main relay, and this red wire is what goes to your ignition. This one goes to a 12 volt key on at crank. It has to have crank. I just so happen to have one, I believe. If not, we'll make one. But yeah, so I'm trying to figure out where the wires are going to go. I'm going to hook everything up except for the the O2, obviously. But like, I know this is going here, and it won't stay there, okay? And these are the main wires. I'm going to have to make extensions to go all the way around to over here. And then the fan one, I'll just maybe run it through there or something. Or I hate to run power all the way around everywhere, but if I use big enough wire, it should be fine. But so this is a learning one for me. It was always in the harness, but I like this. That way it's not all bunched together and then you're trying to figure out how to run wires. But it's cool. You can run it wherever you want. Like this one I'll put over here, and then that one I'll put over there. So I'm going to get these set where they're going to go. I'm going to basically just use a self tapper, put them where they're going on each side, and then we'll run the wires. Well, I just realized I don't have any heavy red or black, so I got to go to town again. Crap. I just need enough to go from here to there, here to there, and here to there. And then just this little stuff here. Okay, I'm gonna have to run to town. This is the shit this is what will take you a while if you're missing stuff. I'll look again, but I'm pretty sure I don't have any. I've got what'll work from going from there to there, but I don't have the rest, so I'll have to go get it. I'll be back. So I got way ahead of myself on filming, but I wanted to get this stuff done. Nothing spectacular here, guys, other than I ran all the wires. This is my power wire that goes to my command center right there. The rest of them from this main line, all the power from here and the ground from here are in this loom that goes underneath all the way to here. And then I got this rat's nest, but it's not really a rat's nest yet. I'll probably never touch it. It'll probably stay just like this. But all the grounds are to the battery, and this is my main power to the entire system, and it'll be right there. The only thing I got left is this goes to my 12-bolt key with crank, and I think we should be pretty close. I got my return line ran while I was waiting. Amber went and got my wire for me, and I didn't do this on my own. I had a little help. This is Justin, old Junk and the dog.
Hello, hello.
Become friends on Poverty Tour, yeah. And that whole group of folks. And he come in and he was on his way through here, so he helped me get this loomed up.
Having big success in finding parts.
Yeah. I hear you are pretty good with windshields.
Yes, I am now the windshield man.
Yeah, yeah. You break them when you see them, and
I'm the best person to sell a windshield to, because I'll go to your house, break it, pay you, and leave.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. You could be like me, and everything I get has a broken windshield.
Yeah.
Well, a couple of them haven't, thank God. But I got a few more things to do here. He just stopped by to say hi.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get some fuel line ran and a few little here's and there's. And this thing should be ready to go. It's getting a little late in the day. I may have to wait till tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I took my time. And then, of course, our 2021 vehicle over there decided to break down. Yeah. You don't see any of these old hot rods breaking down, do you? Nope. This one ran fine until I screwed it up. But
all the O'Reillys about had a conniption when you asked for a 2021 part.
Yeah, they were like, what the hell are you doing? But anyway, guys, I'm going to get back to this. Just finish up some wiring and some other things. I've already got the handheld wired. It goes right here, and I just go right back through the firewall, and it's in there ready to go. I just have a few more little things to hook up, and hopefully that won't take too long. This is really an easy process. You've done one yourself, haven't you?
Yes.
You have one in your Winnebago.
Yes, and I love it. If I could keep a transmission in the Winnebago, it'd be perfect. So, but I do have the quick draw on it. That thing was fun to tune.
Yeah.
You can do all the shift points and the torque converter lockup and all that fun stuff. I'm doing a 4L80E in that.
Yeah.
And it's not the tuner's fault at all for why it blew. It's my engineering as far as torque converter gap behind the flywheel. But,
oh, you'll get it figured out.
Yeah. But
we sure like playing with our toys and making them probably worse.
Yeah, I could have driven that thing across the country at 55 miles an hour with the old 318
yeah.
carburetor. But
yeah,
trying to make it better. But
well, I'm gonna get my ass back to work on this, trying to do this tutorial. You know, I could have used this PDM. It's a great product. But the more I looked at it and the more I thought about it, where the hell would I put this thing where it wouldn't be in the way with all that exposed metal? I just didn't know. I thought about putting it like right there. But I thought I'm going to keep this as simple as I can, and I would just run the relays. And, you know, maybe at some point I'll come back and revisit this.
I like my PDM, but I was running electric fans, so if you want to have all the options, that's the way to go.
Right, definitely. There's everything on this thing, and it is great. I remember when they came out with it, and it's a great product. I don't think I need it. I think I'm going to be good to go. Keep it simple for us dumb rednecks.
Belts and suspenders.
Yeah. Okay, moving right along. We have all of our fuel lines ran. Again, this is pressure. It's coming out and it's going down and around up to this 10 micron filter. I happen to have one of them, so I get to put an extra in the car. All the way around to this front one. It looked better that way, and we capped that one right there. Then we blew out all the lines. You blow out all the lines before you attach them to anything permanently. Now the fun thing here is I was able to keep my original OG fuel line. It came up to here, and I remember I had some of these 180s, and I don't like, you're not supposed to use these on something like this, but for this it's just pumping fuel, and it goes down and up to where it needs to be. These are all tight. Everything is hooked up except for a couple of wires and the O2 sensor. Obviously I got to get that on there yet, but what I'm going to do right now is crank it over with no power to the coil, no power to anything, and that way we can get some fuel running to this. That way when we are ready to crank it and, you know, test for fuel pressure and leaks, this will have fuel in it and it'll work the way it's supposed to. And the last thing obviously I'm going to do is put the O2 sensor on, which that's going to take a little bit more, and we kind of let the daylight go away. But I'm not stopping. I'm going to keep going. This is a night channel, I guess, right?
Yeah. I'm just watching the master work.
No, there ain't no master about it. I'm guessing. Well, I'm not guessing because I've done two. That one, I screwed up a bunch and I had to redo a bunch of stuff. Not the ACES part, but my lines and electrical. That one, flawless. I put that thing in and it ran great ever since.
Flawless.
Yeah. But we'll go ahead and crank this thing over and make sure we got some fuel going to this. And we got that done. We know it's cranking. We'll unhook the distributor so we ain't got no spark. We don't need it to start, because it will start because it's got fuel in it. But I'll get that unplugged and we'll just make sure it cranks. No, none of this is hooked up. No power to anything but the motor right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and crank it over and do that. That ought to be a plenty. Should be a plenty. We should have fuel in here. Oh yeah, line's cold. So it... Uh-oh.
Yeah, I smell a little something.
Yeah.
That one fitting that we've been complaining about?
Yep, that one right there, I believe.
Right there next to the distributor, too.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, now we're recording.
Huh?
So now we're recording.
Yeah.
Good now. Cranked it again. No leaks.
Yep, I think we're good. It's something just to, and it's not like it's super pressurized, so all it's doing is feeding this. Oh yeah, you can feel it in there. Okay, well, now comes the fun part. So let's walk back here. I was going to use this wire here that I had running to the choke on the carburetor. At crank, with a low battery, it's sitting at like 9, somewhere around there. But I think with a loaded battery, it'd be around 10, and with key on, it's 12 volts. I know that's some kind of fancy wire, I just can't place it, but I think we'll try it. Let's see if it runs with that. If we know, hopefully that'll be it. I just need 12 volts cranking, and if anything, I can use that to run another whatchamacallit here, and it's just another wire to the battery, but that's be a good time for that PDM to be in there, you know. But again, I didn't have a really good place to put that anywhere in here, so I think we'll try that one, because that's the wire that I have hooked up in her, or him, and it works great. So I think we'll try it. I'll just run the wire to it, put it on there, and we'll use that for now. And I'll get all the rest of the wires hooked up that need hooked up. I gotta run that wire to this right here is your attack signal out of the distributor. We need that for pulse. And then crawl underneath time, and I get to weld, which I'm terrible at. But let me go ahead and hook these wires up, and we'll just stop there. We'll jack this car up, and I'll work on that exhaust part of it, because the rest of it's all ready to go. It's all hooked up, other than, you know, tidy up wires and shit, but we can do that. So let me do this. I'll get the car up off the ground, and I'll crawl underneath there, and I'll get that exhaust part figured out. I can probably take that cross pipe out without any trouble. But if there's a way I can do it with it still in the car, I'll do that too. But let me finish this up. So with this O2 sensor, I had this up in the car, and I kind of drew a circle around it right there with a Sharpie, and it said this was about 6 inches from the end of the collector, and then you're supposed to put it at a 10-degree angle. That wasn't a 10-degree angle. This is more like a 10-degree angle, like right there. So this is probably where we're going to need to put it. And it's kind of scary because this is very, very thin. So I don't know how well this is gonna go. But I'm gonna get it as close to there as possible. About right there. That's about as good as I'm gonna get. That puts her at about a 10-degree angle, and it's not completely into this collector, but it says 6 to 10, and 10 is like right there. And that's both sides. So I'm going to use a step fit and do a 7/8. It's marked right there, 7/8. I'm going to take a little bit of tape. I'm going to tape around that 7/8 so I know how deep to go to get this about right there. It needs to be about like right there. I can't get too close to this other weld. I don't want to get into it. But I'll probably go with it about right there. So yeah, let me get my Sharpie, and I'll mark that, and then we'll get to cutting. This damn thing. Right there. Oh. And get a piece of tape. Don't know what it is over there. Okay. Here comes the fun. There we go. Oh yeah. We'll get a hammer, flatten that out just a hair. That should be a plenty. And then I'm going to clean that up with a sandpaper or something, make sure we got good metal there, and we'll get to welding this sucker on, get it back on there. We ain't got nothing else to do. That's it. Everything else is hooked up. There we go. And she's tacked. Well, I've done some really awful welds in my lifetime because I'm not a welder. This, however, was not on me. That is the second one of them Azunus that has taken a shit on me. I ended up getting my old school one out here, and it was bad anyway. It's older than dirt. But I managed to get that thing working enough that I could get it popcorned together. It is on there, and it is tight. There's no air gaps. It's one thing, and it is flat. This looks like shit. Just being honest with you, it's terrible. I could grind it down if I wanted to, but I'm not gonna. I don't care. It's welded, it's tight, it's ready to go. Now I can just stick this thing back up on there, and that should be just about perfect. 10 degrees right there ish, something like that. But that's about 7 inches. I measured it, and that's perfect. Nothing wrong with that. So I'll probably blow something on that, some kind of paint. I don't know. I don't care at this point. All I know is it's closed up. That's what matters. Okay, OBS, everything is hooked up. We're going to turn the key on. That's going to prompt your handset. And we're doing a kill shot. It's all touchscreen, by the way. This handheld is killer. Connection timed out. What? Wizard. Start wizard. Uh-oh. What is going on here? Remember that thing that I said at the beginning of this video about operator error? That would be me too. Yeah. Let me show you what I did. So, you know, I ran that loom through here, right? And I hooked up the first wire, the red wire that came out, I hooked it to this right here. My dumbass hooked the fuel pump power wire to this. So it was just going absolutely nowhere. They were actually like going into each other. And the right wire, that wire was supposed to go here, and the right wire that went to here was down in the loom. I didn't even grab it. I didn't even hook it up. So I again, folks, that's what happens. Always operator error. I swear to Christ. I'm not making this up. I do not fake anything on this channel. If you're just getting an ACES, I do not fake anything. I tell the truth. I even went as far as to get out my other friggin' computer and try it. But now I noticed I didn't have power over here. This is the one that goes to the fuel pump. I noticed I didn't have power over here. I'm like, what the hell? There should be power that's directly to the back. Duh. sometimes I can be a dumbass. I can make mistakes just like you will. That's right there is case in point. So now let's set up the Killshot 2. I swear. Key on. Here we're loading. Hopefully it stays in focus. Killshot. Connect time maybe offline. Well, why? It's all hooked up. Wizard. No way. What in the hell? Now I'm just mad. Now I'm mad. Did I screw something up? Let me double check a couple things. I probably need to go to bed, is what I need to do. Again, operator error. Let me show you how I did it this time. That's 2 in a row. That's my fault. Key on. It'll come up. It's on. I was not reading correctly, and I was looking right here and I was thinking Killshot. That's Killshot. No, dumbass. Killshot 2. Wizard. Start. Imperial units. Unit 2. Distributor type. Don't know. Stock. O2 sensor. Single. Coil. Negative. We're running a regular distributor, right? Coil negative. And it has points. CD ignition box. Magnetic, which would be this is controlling it. No, we're doing coil. Number of injectors. 4. Injector flow rate. We're going to leave that alone. Displacement. 455. 455 CID. Idle speed. We're going to go down to 750. Okay. Cam type, stock. Injector flow rate, 455, hot, idle, 750. We're going to save this. Are you sure you want to save this setting? Yes. Now please key off for 10 seconds to configure, make configuration. Here we go. 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Key back on. Everything's working out there. I hear fuel pumps. I hear everything. Okay, do not show again. There we go. There's all my stuff. MAP battery is 12.5. IAC position is 174. We'll got to work on that. Let's check fuel pressure and stuff before we go any further. Fuel pressure's up. So let's check for leaks. You can see right there, she's up right where it needs to be. No leak. No leak. No leak. And that would be back. No leak. No leaks here. What do we got back here? We got the filter. No leak. No. Oh, we got a little leak back there. Where's it coming from? Oh, right here. Right there. Well, Palm Beach. Okay, we got one there. What about up here? Is my plug working? Plug's working. No leak. No leak. Okay, so we got one leak, that fitting right there. So we can't have that. We're gonna have to see, let me see if I can tighten it real quick. Maybe I just didn't get it tight enough. Yeah, I'm gonna have to replace that line. Shit. But I'm glad nothing else is leaking. I mean, we could still, I mean, that's not good. Let's turn the key off and start over. Let's see if I can see up in there. Oh yeah, she's leaking bad. Yep, I gotta change that before we try to start it. Damn it! Well, we got no leaks anymore. I didn't really specifically like this hose, how long it is. I didn't want to cut it anymore, but it's not leaking anymore. We got pressure and it's completely dry. I just been kind of sitting here. I'm out of line, so I gotta order some, so that's gonna have to do for now until I can get a little better. But I've been just kind of letting it sit here and just kind of soak. Now it's 11 o'clock at night. If I start this thing, my neighbors are going to be pissed. But this thing's quiet, so I think we'll do it. Okay, I'm going to cycle the key and let it rip. Here we go. Typical. Right now it's learning the setup with the AFR. I did not change any of that. I didn't change the AFR, nothing. It's running on the factory setting. When I started it, trying to figure out where to go. But we can't do anything with this until it gets to temp, which is right around 180 something. I'm looking around, we got no fuel leaks anywhere. That's an old one. Great fuel pressure, 60 pounds. Sit there and let it run. At least this one's quiet. My neighbors won't be pissed. Hear that? It's smoothing. Doing its thing. I'm going to sneak in the back and make sure that that return ain't leaking going into the tank. But, oh yeah, she's settling down nice. Sensors working. That. RPM. Hey, it's trying. And there's some adjustments in the injector setup that we'll do maybe tomorrow or something. This is just initial, and then tomorrow we'll button up and this thing will be ready to roll. Double check leaks, connections, timing. I have the timing pretty well on though, so this thing should set. Learn doesn't mean it just learns itself. If you really want maximum performance, you need to have it tuned by someone who knows what they're doing with ACES. Notice I ain't revved this thing up, nothing. Let her sit here and run. So we're adjusting this IAC right here, and you want this somewhere around 10, but 6 to 20 really. So we're at 26 right now, and it's bringing it back down. Every time you try to step that up to bring the IAC down, you want to screw this in, and you do it a little bit at a time, okay? Do not rev it. Go in a little more. And watch that sucker, it'll go down. And 18. We're going to try to get that thing as close to 10 as we can. So we're at 18. It don't take much, guys. 16. 15. Do not get in a hurry about this at all. See how it's going? Oh, now there's skipping around. Oh! That's actually pretty good there. That little bitty turn. That's pretty good. I'm not messing with that one bit. So then, what we're going to do is we're going to stop touching that. Okay? We're going to go here. We're going to go to Wizard. 0 TPS. Yes. Now, TPS is at 0. Computer knows that is your starting position. The AFR is looking pretty damn good. Ignition advance does not matter. We're going to adjust on that injector. Well, 200 degrees, huh? Yeah, she's trying to figure herself out. Battery's good, map's good. Shows that the fan, that's why, dang it, I'll have to show you that. We're going to have to redo this. You'll notice the 2 little blue dots on the left, those are fans, and we need to adjust them so they don't go off. I don't have electric fans, because what happens is your electric fans will kick on, that'll jump your IAC up, and then you'll turn it way down, and then all of a sudden when you're cool, your fans aren't on, and you're like, why is this thing running like shit? Well, that has a lot to do with it. But anyway, guys, I ain't worried about that temp. She'll come out of that. Oh yeah. Sounds pretty smooth. Works for me, man. Okay, notice the IAC went down to 5. That's because I went in here, went to tuning, system settings. I think it was here, or was it the other one? Dang it, I lost it. Sensors. No. Oh, system IQ. Fan 1, fan 2, fan 1, fan 2. I raised them way up. Okay. And that, again, if you're back on your regular screen, you're going to go to your menu screen, you're going to go to tuning, you're going to scroll up to system IO, and it's right there. And you can set those to wherever you want them and push save, and it'll save them, and that will stop that shit from happening, because I got a mechanical fan. But now my IAC's all messed up, so we'll go in here and back it off. Come on now. Make it a big jump. See the difference? That ignition advance won't be on my screen, but that's 11, that's good. I'll take that. So again, we'll go here, go to Wizard. Anytime you adjust anything, go to Wizard, 0 your TPS. There, at 203, I ain't worried about it. I'm letting that thing do its thing. If I come in here and turn the lights on, look at my gauge, she's under 190. There is an adjustment for that, okay? There's an adjustment for it. I just can't, I haven't figured out where it is yet. But something's not happy in here. Look at the lights just going crazy. And my voltage is just going crazy too. I better look at that. That's different. If I what is that noise? Something's not happy. I don't know what that is. I'll figure it out. Alright, so I shut her off, and for some reason this is charging, battery is not. So either here or that ground are bad, and I'm gonna have to fix that before I go any further. But it's getting too late for that, and it just started to rain. So I gotta get all this shit cleaned up. Windows are down. Somehow I gotta get my windows up real quick. This is gonna be fun, so I'll be back tomorrow sometime, okay? Hey, good morning. Yeah, I was up till about 2 o'clock in the morning ish. 1:30, 1:40, I don't know, I lost count. Not because I was working on the ACES system, because my charging system died, and for some reason my battery cables just instantly corroded. Everything went to shit real fast, and my windows were down, and it started pouring down rain. So I had to redo the connections, but I still don't have any charging. I think my old original regulator finally just, you know. But that doesn't kill the ACES system. It's doing great. The operator error thing, that's hilarious that happened. I mean, I should have known I was going to screw up. I'd never do, but the minute that I'm trying to show you something, I screw up. But that's one of the operator error things, man. I'm telling you, it's all operator error. Everything else is running good. The ACES setup is good. The only thing that could be bad is your setup and your engine and setup there too. Because if you've got a vacuum leak somewhere in there, or you got an exhaust leak out there, or you got other things, I mean, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. And you just got to have patience to let it get used to, you know, you just got to have patience to let the motor and your setup get used to, I can't say anything but the best atomization they could possibly want. I don't think, I mean, if you notice, when I first started this thing, the first start, did you see all the fuel coming out of the bowls? There was, you know, all that, and then after a while, it learned itself, it calmed down, and, you know, it's still got a lot to learn, and obviously, I guess I do too. But it's early morning now, this thing's quiet. I'll just go ahead and try to fire it up real quick. I'm going to get a voltmeter out here and check a few things. But as far as the Killshot setup, I think we're done. But let's give it a fire early in the morning, see what it does. All right. Oh my God. Oh, hot. Let me roll the windows down real quick. Yeah, the battery's drained. Listen to that. I haven't done anything other than that fan thing that I showed you. I haven't done nothing. Oh, yeah, I did. I actually put the idle AFR to 14. That seems to be where Gutless likes it with that tunnel ram, so I did that with this. But other than that, I ain't touched it. Let her sit here and warm. Let me go get my voltmeter. So yeah, I think my regulator or something is externally regulated, and if it's not kicking on. But when I first got this thing running back over here, that thing was smoking. It did not like it one bit. Without showing us. It's showing us charging now. The alternator's pushing 14, over 14, and at the battery, 13.6. The alternator's working. I need to get different ends on this too. These are junk, but I was in a hurry. So you want to see what operator error will do? If I can get it to do it. Look at that. Melted that sumbitch. Operator error. Well, I did a few things while I was just sitting here. I got other things I'm doing on this car while I'm doing this, but timing was a little hot, so I can't bring her down. She's at about 14 initial. This is a manifold vacuum, so it's taking full vacuum to this. I normally don't like running it like that, but it'll adjust itself out, I guess. But I ran this back to about 14 initial. I might even have to bring her back a little further. I don't know. It seems to be okay though. Nothing's getting hot except for that sumbitch. I got a new one coming. It'll be here this afternoon because it actually died on it again. Alternator was just fine. Get me some new ends, stuff like that. I need to button up all the wiring, fix that fuel leak. Just general cleanup, really. I mean, it seems to be just fine. Checked. One thing I did check, since this, let me get a mat over here because I'm old and my back will hurt if I don't. But I'd never run one with a return line. Okay, so this is your return, and this is your main pump. And I'll probably leave clear on there so I can keep an eyeball on it. Not real good to have one down here, but I do it all the time. I wanted to make sure it pumped enough fuel to the command center with the return in case it was pushing it back. It's not. I closed this thing off completely. It did not change that one bit. But I've been just looking down the car and I don't see anything that's that's leaking. There ain't no fuel anywhere. Not sure what the hell that is. Is that fuel? I don't know what that is. Huh. Might be from something else. Hell, I don't know. It seems to be fine. I see a little bit of a transmission leak, but we'll fix that problem. Yeah. No fuel leaks other than that one. Power steering leaks like a sieve. Could probably change that pump out too, or rebuild it. I've done that. But okay, looks like everything's okay. I gotta change that center link bar. This side's bad over here. That goes onto the pitman arm. It's bad. But yeah, I mean, that's basically it, y'all. The thing runs great. I haven't drove it yet. We'll do that later on. But while it's up in the air, I have other things to do. I don't want to do it again. But, well, I guess I kind of have to. I've got a new horn relay. Little things. We're going to change that. I'll get the wiring all set up. I'll get that thing better. I don't know why it's doing that. I may need to cut that line back a little bit. It may not be a good spot for that. But it is slightly leaking. Okay, well. Oh, so after I let this thing cool off a while, I'm going to change this temp sensor. I have another one because it's showing me a reading of 207 when the gauge is showing me a reading of like 190, and I trust my gauges, so this thing's maybe just a little off. So I got another one. I'll stick that in there and I'll see what it says. It could be a totally different animal, and maybe, you know, this one's bad. It's very possible, you know, sensors go bad. They can be bad from the factory. So, and by the way, this is the same sensor you go to O'Reilly's and get. There's nothing special about it. But yeah, we're gonna trust my gauge and say that that thing may be bad. And that will determine how this thing runs, and I don't need it. I usually have them like maybe 2 to 5 degrees off, but not, you know, it was running 190 and this thing's saying it's 208. Yeah, and I ran my gun and it said 190, anywhere from 160 to 190 across the front of that motor. So yeah, there's something going on there. Well, it's just a test. Takes time. We'll let this thing cool down, we'll let the pressure out, and I'll change that. Need to find a better way to hide this thing. I don't want all them exposed wires. But so far so good. Let me get this thing buttoned up. You don't need to see that on the video. It's just me zip tying and sheathing and routing and all that shit. And I'll get back to you when we're probably ready to take her for her first drive with the ACES EFI. So I'll see you after a bit. Damn, it's bright. See that? That's not how hot it is. I don't know why it's doing that, but I've checked it with a gun numerous times. So whatever. No leak. No leaks. All the wiring. The one thing I did do is I took all the little, they give you these little cut up deals. I took all those little cut ends off and put these little caps on, kind of like a rain cap, and it's down in there now. And there's my computer wire. This is the gray wire. It actually goes to the signal from the distributor, or basically your tack wire. This is your 12 volt on and 12 volt on and crank. And they're going up around here. I did not cut that wire off. I just balled it up. And I run it all by itself. I did not put it because if I have trouble, all them wires are diagnosable. I can look right at them and know exactly what they are. But yeah. Good fuel pressure. Everything looks fantastic. It really does. It looks great, except for that shit. I need to get a reason why that goes up, or is there a way I can change the resistance to make it match what it actually is? Because that will mess around with your setup. But I know the motor is not that hot. I've used a gun. You know, you can put your hand around it. It's not no 200 degrees. Look at that. It's not 200 degrees. It's just not. But this mess here, I'm going to change because I'm going to put different ends here. Might get a little fancy. I don't know. But let me check the timing real quick, and maybe we'll drop this thing on the ground and put the air cleaner on it. We'll go for a drive. Well, let's go. As always, we start out just nice and easy, going to the backyard, you know, make sure everything's there. She definitely wants to go. So far, oh, I forgot, we need to get a power steering belt for this thing. Zeppy, don't let me forget that.
Okay.
And that buzzing noise is going to drive me nuts. We're going to have to put some rubber isolators on that stuff. Alright. I know the gas gauge works, so...
Look at that.
What is that?
Oh, just look at all the cars while we wait.
Huh? What did we get?
What we get?
Special delivery.
Yeah.
Thank you. Is this the parts I was looking for? No. No. It's the extra fuel filter. Damn.
Oh, we use that.
All right. Let's hit it. Oh my God. This thing is so smooth. That's wild. This thing's ridiculously smooth. I mean, it ran good before, but this is
a lot better.
This is a lot better. Wow. We gotta stop up here and we gotta get gas. We're about to run out of gas. We're doing traffic light to traffic light. No real jump on it. We're just doing normal driving. You don't want to get out there and start romping on it because you're going to teach it to, that's all you do. So don't do that. Just get out there, go light to light, just normal driving. Do it for, you know, 15 or 20 minutes or a half hour, really shit, however much you want to do it. And then get home and shut it off, and your ECU will remember the settings. It'll reset, so next time you start it, it'll start that right where that was. So, and just keep that in mind. This is just normal everyday driving. That's all you're doing. And so far, this thing has been flawless. It hasn't jumped, it hasn't sputtered, it hasn't done anything but run really good. And, you know, that ought to tell you something. There's nothing wrong with these systems. Oh, yeah? I still ain't tromped on it. But you get the idea. So me and Zeppy went on our trip, stopped at O'Reilly's, got some power steering fluid, stuff like that. Turns out the power steering's full. It's just, the pump's bad, so I ordered a pump. So now let's go with operator error number 3. We got home, and this car at idle would surge and go down, surge and go down. I've heard this and I've seen this on people on Facebook, on the ACES pages, and I've seen it. And I think I just figured out why. So let me show you operator error, installer error number 3. And I'm an idiot. All in all, everything is great. No leaks. Everything stayed buttoned where it needs to. Everything ran great while you were rolling down the road. But when I came home, we parked it here and it started just surging like you would not believe. You know, everything. The RPMs, the IAC, you name it. It was doing it. Well, I figured it out that it was my vacuum advance on the distributor. So I started messing with the distributor, trying to get it, you know, like, man, maybe the distributor's bad. And then I pulled the hose off of the port and pulled this off and just plugged it, and all of a sudden it ran perfectly. I tuned it or I timed it down to like 20, and it sounded great. It was doing real good. And I got a hold of a friend of mine, and he said, well, why didn't you just plug the distributor into ported vacuum? And I was like, where? There's only one. And then it just hit me like a freaking ton of bricks. There is, in fact, a ported vacuum on the Killshot 1 and 2. How do I know that? Because I have 2 of them. I had the Cutlass sitting right here in front of me. I didn't even bother to go look at it. I just thought I knew what I was doing. Again, I wasn't thinking. I was awful, terrible installer moment. It's hidden up above one of the big ports. I can show it to you if you want, but if you look at the front, there's 2 big, 1 center. Those are all manifold. Then they're right up underneath the little cup where your injector sits in. There's one back in there. So guess what? I found a freaking hose, plugged it to that, plugged it to my vacuum advance, which I tested, sucked on it, and the engine rose and fell. Plugged it into that ported vacuum, plugged it over here on my distributor. Voila. Perfect. Revs perfect. She's sitting at like 18 to 20 initial, and she revs up to like 36. Operator error. But other than that, this thing is running fantastic. It is not even the same car. Just a little bit that I drove it with the carburetor on it, and I put this on and drove it even while it ran like shit sitting here in an idle and it wasn't right. It felt amazing. I mean, it feels like you're driving one of these new cars. It's that good. So let me start her up and I'll let you hear her idle. We'll check the vitals and we'll get on with our day. Wow, three installer operator errors in one install. Yeah, it happens even to the ones that have done a few. So let's check her out. All right, I'm just going to turn the key, turn her on. It's still learning, but everything is a-okay. It's amazing how well it does run. I did have to order a power steering pump. That has nothing to do with the ACES stuff, but it's so noisy now that you can feel it. It's bad. So I got one on order, but I like the fact the way that the Killshot's designed is you keep the stock appearance. This is exactly how it looked when I found the car, except it had a quadrajet on a 430, and I took that out. It was locked up. If you don't know, if you're first timers here, that thing was bad. You have to go back into playlist under this car and look, it was awful. And then I built this motor right over there. Rain, sleet, snow, built it right outside. And it's fantastic. This is a 455 out of a 71 Riviera. So it's a good engine. But listen to that thing. It's perfect. And all it took was that right there, hooked into the right port. Idiot. So in a nutshell, that's it, guys. It's that simple. I mean, it took me a day and a little bit of this morning, early this morning, but that day, what took me the longest was finding those damn stud nuts. Okay, so now in this video, you know which ones you need. You know which fitting you need for the coolant temp sensor. Pretty simple. Okay, I am going to clean this up. I'm not going to do it now, but I've got new connectors that these wires actually fit in better. I don't know if I may just leave these alone now because they seem to be fine. But you can choose to, you know, use the circuit board. But if you're just doing something like this and you don't have electric fans and all the extra crap, this is simple and easy. It's the way that one is, the way the Cutlass is. It's fine. Everything is working as it should. So there's our vitals. This thing is perfect. It's right on the money. I'm still trying to figure out how to set this to match everything else. Right now the car is at like 195, which that's the thermostat that I have in here. It's 195. So we're talking 11, 12 degrees difference, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'll probably just take that off of there so I can't see it. You can change all these. If you go here, push the double line, you have all these. You can change this from RPM to mile per hour, and it's GPS. If you don't want your coolant temp on here, you click on it. Well, whoops, hit the wrong button. Go there. We don't want to know what the ECT is. I have no idea, don't care. So we're going to go runtime. Let's get rid of that. Let's go with TPS. There, gone. History. I don't have to look at it no more. See? It's at 0. If it's not at 0, you come over here. Let's do that again so you can see it. Click your boxes. Wizard. 0 TPS. Yes. Just make sure you're not hitting the pedal. But it's a 0. It's fine. Map looks good. Battery is coming out of it now. My IAC, I'm letting it kind of, that's a work in progress. You just kind of work with it until it figures it out. But it seems this thing likes like 10, 11, 12, 13, right in that area. AFR, I got set to 14 at idle, and it seems to like it. That's my fuel pressure. The Killshot 2 has that, whereas the ones do not. That one over there, we have to physically get out and look unless you want to put an inline switch. But this one, it's built right in. So it tells me exactly, and it says what, 50 55 up to 67. Yeah, it's right there, about 51, but at least it tells you, you know. And I like to see this closed loop. I like to see that. That means everything's running efficiently. The leaks, no leaks, everything works. But also these Killshot 2s, this new 5, this is cool. You can pick your theme. Like, what's this? That's your RPM. That's a special RPM. And you can back up. Let's go back. You push the ACES button, and if you want a dash, let's go with the dash. RPM, miles per hour. You can put that right in the center so you can see what's going on. Then you can go here, and that's where you get the fancy blue. Makes it look extra digital. I'll probably leave it. I like this old screen. I'm used to it. It's what I have in the Cutlass and the ambulance, and it works great. But the only thing I really need to do yet is maybe those wires over there, get them cleaned up a little. I'm going to change these over to a shielded wire. Anything that's not shielded, I'm going to shield it. And really, that's it. Mess with the timing a little bit till we get, you know, right where the sweet spot is, where it likes it. But I do that by ear. I just drive it, floor it, figure it out. Or you can pull a plug, but I can hear the motor is doing good or bad, and just by how it feels. I've been doing this so damn long. But anyway, guys, so that's going to do it for the ACES Killshot 2 install with the Command Center 2. I started yesterday late mid-morning and kind of fart-assed around. Had trouble with the bolts. My buddy Justin from Old Junk and Dog came by and we bullshitted a while, and then he ended up helping me. And then it started pouring down rain on me last night. And then you got to add in 3 operator and or installer errors that I made, and I knew better. I've installed them. I didn't have this trouble out of the Cutlass. I didn't mess that up one bit. This one, I did. I messed it up. Unreal. But it happens. Be patient. Take your time. Realize the parts that you need before you start the install. I should have known about that fitting for the ECT or the coolant temp. I should have known. And I didn't think about it. Well, now I've got it embedded, and I cooked a little piece of paper, and it's in my toolbox with all the rest of my fitting stuff and things like that. But this is completely doable. You don't need all the other fancy shit. If you just want to go with this and you travel with your car and you want to go through the mountains like we are on Poverty Tour this year, we're heading down 66, starting in Joplin, going all the way to right before we get to California. Sorry guys, we're taking a right and we're going north up to Utah for 4 days and then traveling back through Denver. So how good is fuel injection going to be going through the high mountains? Yeah, that's going to be great. But if there's any problems that I have, I'm an honest person. I will tell ACES about it and I will tell you about it. But the next step of this ACES setup and this build is going to be on that Poverty Tour. So pay attention, keep track of me and Zeppy and the family, and we're going to be doing that here in about 2 or 3 weeks, and then about a week later after that we'll have a video on it. But I may put updates, little shorts and updates of how things are going, because this really did end up becoming a testament for the ACES system and how much I believe in it. And I think that you guys will too, if you take the right steps and do everything correctly and take your time. You're gonna make mistakes. It just happens, okay? But anyway, guys, if you get a chance, go check out the ACESEFI.com. They have merch. They have all kinds of great stuff for you. They have deals all the time, like really good deals. This entire system, if you had everything that you put on, roughly $1,500. A carburetor is roughly $500 to $600. So save up a little more, do it right, and you'll never have to touch this thing other than clean out a filter or two, you know. Just make sure you keep clean fuel to it. That's why we cleaned out the tank. I run a pre-filter before the mechanical pump, and I run a 10 micron after the pump, and plus we have the brand new sock screen in the tank. So everything should be good to go. Just check your filters, keep track of your fuel pressure, all that stuff. But I highly recommend the Killshot 2 or Killshot 2 Pro, even maybe the Killshot Fusion. I'm more of a guy that likes this computer to be not on top of the hot motor, but they've had great luck with them, so maybe they're okay. I'm sure they are. They wouldn't put them out there if they weren't. I like everybody at ACES. They've been really good to me, especially on this. But yeah, about $1,500. This setup right here is yours. That's amazing. Anyway, guys, go check out our merch at the Printify store, and please like, subscribe if you're new here. Take care of yourself. We'll see you in the mountains.